second part of the centre's retractable roof was precariously jacked into place, the biggest structure ever to be lifted in Australia.
Every time I come here, I'm staggered by the improvements that are made, and there's no doubt it's going to be the greatest stadium in the world for tennis.
I suppose my first memory of it, and one that I can always remember, is that when they were putting the roof on this, the centre court, which was going to be the first major tennis stadium in the world with a roof on it. When it came to opening the roof for the first time, I was asked, as a former player, endeavour to serve a bell on the side of the court. The idea was to hit the bell, and that would mean that the roof would open up. I was told by various officials, don't get it first go, or that, because we want the excitement to build up. I think I hit it with something like second serve, and it was opened up and the balloons went up, and it's, you know, a memory that I'll always remember.
In 1988, the first act we brought in, we actually opened the venue, was AC/DC. When it was announced that the venue was opening in February, they asked me to organise it. And because I also looked after the Bee Gees, all the directors thought that it was going to be Bee Gees. In actual fact, and all the workmen were here. And when I announced it was AC/DC, they all went pale, and all the workmen got all excited and applauded, and it was really great.
Melbourne, as much as being Sydney side as we hate to say it, but Melbourne is the music capital of Australia, and is certainly becoming much bigger worldwide because of obviously the internet and the technology. And I tell people all over the world, even some of the venues, that the Melbourne precinct is the best precinct in the world. And, you know, I stand by that. I just wish these idiots in Sydney would get their act together and stop. I won't swear.
Well, we'll make sure they see.
Well, I tell them to their face, so it's no big deal. People need to learn from the example of Melbourne, obviously because it's government-backed and a very proactive government.
I'm John Cain, and I was Premier from 1982 to 1990. We then took the step of devoting a piece of public parkland, which it was, in close proximity to the City of Melbourne, for the purpose of international sport. We made the park home of the Australian Open, and in so doing, we ensured that the Grand Slam status of the Australian Open was maintained, along with New York, Wimbledon, and Roland Garros in Paris. That's big time. Piece of public parkland was the most difficult politically site to achieve. The opposition was ferocious. They were so short-sighted. And Philippe Le Chartrier, who was the head of World Tennis then, called the International Tennis Body, he made it clear that Melbourne, Victoria, Australia could not retain the Grand Slam status unless we did something about providing a better facility. We recognised that. That was wise counsel, and the tennis people like Brian Tobin and Neil Fraser and a whole range of people around the Lawn Tennis Association of Australia, which was then called, that was a very important ingredient in our getting the centre built and having tennis support and cooperation. At the same time, we enhanced the use of the park. The public still use it in many, many ways, and has been a long-term benefit to the people of Victoria.
The business has grown a lot, and one of the significant milestones was when we got our first real arena, because we'd been doing shows at MSEC previously, which was nicknamed the Melbourne Sports and Chiropractic Centre, because the audience had to sit and look that way at the stage. These seats didn't come round in an arc. So to get a venue that seemed to be attuned to people watching a show in relative comfort was a great surprise. Melbourne audiences are fantastic to play to. They embrace the artists that come here, and the artists really enjoy the atmosphere at Rod Laver. It's one of those venues where the sound of the audience is amplified on stage.
Without a doubt, one of the most outstanding was the Eagles, and it was very significant because the Eagles filmed it, and they filmed it in style. The Eagles were all about sound, and they were sound perfect, and the timing of it became incredibly unique because it was just when DVDs and every shop you went into, that as an example of how good your TV or sound system sounded. It also gave Rod Laver an incredible worldwide acknowledgement. We really created history, but it's a venue that's been very cooperative, very open to renovation.
I love my job. I think that's why I've been here for so long. I hope I facilitated making memories, lifelong memories, and to watching children at their first show at the Wiggles, or in their teens and first dates, or going to Andre Rieu when you're 80. I love helping facilitate making those memories, and if I've got a part of that, that's a pretty good feeling.
I don't see working at Melbourne Olympic Park as a job. People come in and have the magical experience, and we're part of that delivery. That's what it's all about for me. Rod Laver is rocking. There's no better place to be.
It's a special place to work. It's enjoyable. Not many people can say that they love what they do, and I do. I've been here 17 years. I still get roles that I haven't done before, and every shift is different. Last year I ended up on the crash fence at a Green Day concert, handing out cups of water, and it was amazing because those people were so grateful for that water. But I ran that night, I ran and it was just, I kind of feel like a bit of a thief sometimes. I go to work and I get paid, but I go home with what people have paid hundreds for.
Melbourne Park and Rod Laver Arena, it's just part of my life. I worked here when I wasn't going out with anyone. I worked here when I got married. I worked here when I had kids. I work here and I enjoy it immensely. It's customer satisfaction. As long as the customer has a great time, things go off well, that's my job. That's why I don't see my job as being security, really. And sure, it's a security issue to the whole thing, but it's more about everyone having a great time, and I think I don't mind a great time either when I work here, so it's...
My whole life's virtually been in Rod Laver. We started in the entertainment centre and then walked across here and started here. We just said, do you need the riggers? And they said, yeah, and that's where we started. It's a really responsible job. That's what makes it so exciting. You know, you're putting 60, 70 tonne of equipment above people's heads. And then to be recognised on the 25-year club, no, I'm a contractor, why are they doing this? So they did. And I've still got the badge to say it. But now, really, I've been here for 35 years.
The first show that we had at Rod Laver Arena was Toy Story in 1999. We've turned the hardwood floor at Rod Laver Arena into an ice floor. We've had 13 Disney on Ice shows since then. We've had over 1.1 million Disney on Ice fans come into the precinct, Rod Laver Arena specifically.
My first memory was the 2007 Swimming Championships. To put in a swimming pool in a physical hard space, for me that is an engineering masterpiece.
I was thinking, how the hell are they going to build a swimming pool in the middle of the floor of Rod Laver? It was a huge challenge. I think it was 30 people working on building scaffolds and trying to rig a truss above a pool and lighting, sound. It was just unbelievable.
It is a magnificent 15,000 roaring people on a swimming pool, and you wouldn't have known any different. You come the following week and it becomes a tennis court, it becomes a wrestling stage, it becomes a music venue. That's just what makes Rod Laver Arena such a magical place.
My favourite memory was in my first year working here. It was back in 2012 when Djokovic finally defeated Nadal after 5 hours and 53 minutes. It kept going. It was going and going and going, but at the time I thought, wow, what have I got myself into?
I'd never seen a concert in my life until I started working at Rod Laver Arena. Now I've seen 10 years worth of concerts, but Pink of 2013, that tour there, the vibe of that place, walking in, selling programs and then going inside the venue, and just before she comes out on her first song, see the adoring fans, the passion that they show, and they've paid their hard-earned cash. Pink and her fans brought such an energy, and we were part of that energy. The hairs on the back stand up every time.
Rod Laver Arena has always been really welcoming. You feel like you're at home there. Everyone cares about you coming there as a promoter, and they do their best to give you as good experience, not only for you as the promoter and the artist, but also for the fans. And we brought basketball back at the international level to Rod Laver, which this great venue and this precinct is good for indoor sport as well as concerts.
Now the scale of production is so significant that they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The evolution of the venue from a structural and development perspective has been really important.
Rod Laver, it's done great service to the city. Our redevelopment here is providing renewal for the next 30 years and building upon the legacy of what Rod Laver has. But the legacy really is not just its physical form, but it's the stories that we tell each other of the experience that we've had there. So it's become quite an important cog in Melbourne's narrative and our cultural storytelling.
The greatest challenge for the project was to make sure that the identity and character of Rod Laver in its original form wasn't lost. What makes this unique is we've had to bring new ideas to something that's already existing and meld the two together in a way that's coherent. We address this challenge by almost treating it as two different architectures. The original building we've kept intact and we've added things to that, but everything new that we put on plugs into it, and I believe the two things have come together in a very harmonious balance.
Rebuild of Rod Laver Arena. We started that project with the objective of never closing it, but spending a significant sum of money on completely changing that arena. When I've spoken to staff, I've likened it to we are changing the engines on the 747 while it is in flight and trying to complete it before it hits the ground.
A lot of people don't know that we actually built the original Rod Laver Arena, and to be invited back to really do the largest next component of works there and the redevelopment of that 30-year-old venue has been nothing but fantastic. Working with an existing venue that's operating has never really been done before. Rod Laver Arena is the third busiest venue on earth by ticket sales, excluding the tennis.
Rod Laver was the first venue of its type in the world to have an openable roof. The roof operations have been improved. The patron experience has been dramatically increased in size and in quality. People will have a better experience in the future.
Every change has literally and figuratively brought the precinct closer to the city.
Look at it. In the early days, when it first started, you look at it now and it's just, oh my God. The difference is the size. Where you have a flyover that goes, what I call the Exhibition Street flyover, that was kind of out of bounds. You look at it now, it just goes all the way down to Richmond Station.
When I started promoting contemporary music, if you want to call it rock and roll, whatever, it was sort of a 1 or 2 generation audience. Now it's a 4 generation audience. You have some artists that tour, like say a Fleetwood Mac, where grandparents, parents and children coming along.
The legacy of this venue for generations to come will not be in its design and will not be in its architecture. It's in the very fact that it keeps changing and evolving.
If I had to choose one word to describe Rod Laver, it would be vital.
Multi-dimensional, it can do anything.
Enduring, it has stood the test of time and continues to do so.
Accommodating. They've always put the artists and the fans first.
One word to describe Rod Laver is shit hot.
Iconic.
World class.
Happening. Exceptional.
Versatile.
Envy. Most of the countries in the world are envious of what we got here.
Absolute memories. Memories are made of these. People go home and think, I had a great night. Memories that they will have for years to come.
I'm still haven't worked out that one word, I must admit, but okay, I was going to start trying to think of one word. Larger than life? Yeah, I'll take that as one word.